think that it's wise to leave this market, or for young people to think twice about this market, because they're the ones who are more likely to bolt?
I think, Neil, you know, the question is, where do you go if you leave the market?
Yeah.
If you put your money in cash, you get taxed by inflation, 6-7%. Who knows what the real inflation numbers are in this country right now? But they're up there.
So you'd stay. Young or old, you'd stay.
In a word, I would stay. I would be selective. I would want stocks that are not trading at 100 times earnings, but stocks that are in the energy field. They're not expensive. They're fairly cheap. And you know what? We're going to need all that oil, despite what we're saying about green.
So,
and
bottom line,
else.
too soon to quit. Where do you stand on this, Brady?
Well, you know, the young people really came of age during the financial crisis.
That's right.
And then right after that recovered, we had the pandemic. So they're looking at markets that have been seen tumultuous downturns twice in their short lifetimes.
But they've only just lately gotten into this bull market, and now they're the first to consider getting out.
Well, yeah, and they're looking to more, you know, further out on the yield curve, on the yield spectrum, because our rates have been kept so low artificially by the Fed for so long. Now they're moving into things like SPACs and NFTs and things just further even out from stocks.
But they've got money. Guess what I was reading? You know, they're the biggest buyers, millennials, more to the point, buying up art and real estate.
Some of them.
Some of them
have money.
So they're obviously, you know, good at a lot of things.
If you think about it, they haven't really seen a bear market because they got in, a lot of them, in 2008. And it's funny because I'm very critical of these people who buy the meme stocks. I think these.
Oh, that's horrible.
It's horrible, right? And by the way, it's all these millennials in it, and they keep calling me an old man. I don't understand. I'm old, and I don't understand that a company like AMC that's trading like Apple or Amazon and loses money. I don't understand that.
No,
that's
it's worth anything.
Do you realize how moronic these kids are? They're so stupid.
Older people are part of that wave too, aren't they?
No, it's a lot. It's a big millennial thing because I see it. You get on the Reddit, and by the way, it's literally. It's literally like, I don't want to say it. I was going to say a circle blank. I'm not going to say that. But it literally is like just everybody feeding off each other and agreeing with each other.
Everyone wants to make a quick buck. Is that a curse of the youth? I mean, there are a lot of, you know, we were young one time, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm too old to remember. But Neil, I mean, the point is, I mean, stocks have value. I mean, that's the thing. And the one thing you can say about this market...
You don't think they're a little rich?
In some cases.
Some are. The meme stocks are rich, right?
The meme stocks are ridiculous.
Is the market, the overall market, multiple-wise, rich to you? You crunch these numbers all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the earnings season we just came off was better than expected, and that actually brought the PE ratio down a bit. It had been higher for the
So it's not wacky high?
No, it's not wacky high. It's high by historical measures, but not wacky high.
I think the key thing, I want to get back to something you said about inflation. We don't know what it is. Jerome Powell was so absurd yesterday.
He was utterly absurd, and what they said was absurd.
Okay, so think about it. He's saying, oh, we may have to raise rates. He said may, only 3 times. And we're doing this, but may. 3 times when you have 7% inflation.
Yes,
so why did the markets respond?
Because of that, it was weak, and it was dovish. And
do you think it was weak so much as getting an uncertainty out of the way? We kind of suspected.
Neil, it was so weak, it's unbelievable. What he said, if you just look at the language and just focus on exactly what he said. It said we now will buy at least $60 billion worth of securities a month, as opposed to at least $95 billion. No maximum.
Remember, the taper is not a tightening. The taper is cutting back on the purchases.
He didn't even say he was doing that.
This guy's out of his mind.
He didn't say he was doing that.
Neil, if you think inflation's bad, okay, it's going to be out of his control, and the markets will correct.
You know, it's interesting. Here's what I want to raise, and Charlie Brady, maybe you can help me with this. When people are polled on the subject about inflation, are you worried? Older people tend to be much more worried about it, maybe because in our lifetimes we remember long gas lines and all of that. But young people see it in terms of, am I going to spend, you know, $3.50 a gallon or $4 a gallon? They don't look at it the same way we do. They don't remember a prime rate of 21%. They don't remember mortgage rates in the mid to late teens.
Wait until their breakfast burrito goes from this big to this big, which is going on right now. Trust
but
me.
my point is, if young people are looking, that's a big adjustment in their eyes.
Yeah, but it takes a while for them to like feed in. Like, so what do they consume? I mean, when the cost of Air Jordans go up,
They never moved for that. They
right?
don't
I mean,
understand
just
the
that's
concept.
That's my point.
No,
So
but
if they
the
have
price
it's
of
just
food
as
is going
serious
up,
to them
Charlie.
as you and I talking about.
Yeah, but they
much
eat.
higher.
Don't these millennials eat anything but ramen? Right? They eat other stuff, right? Or am I wrong on that?
You are a globally respected business reporter.
but I just
a lot of times I ask myself, how is that?
Yes. But let me ask you this, Neil. Do millennials eat steak?
Yeah.
Well, then why they don't know the price of steak is going up?
So they are, and they're annoyed
well,
too. You see these Fox Business polls, young people, middle-aged, old, they're all getting alarmed.
You know why
about
the
it.
millennials don't? Because they live with mom and dad still.
Yeah, they still do, and it's their
They do not live with mom.
Yes, they do.
a lot of them do, and
Yeah,
Neil,
millennials. Yeah.
Neil, this is their fault.
Millennials
This
are
whole
close to
thing
40.
is in their lap. It's this green stuff. Yes, there's no doubt the world is getting warmer, but instead of banning
Well, they blame
oil,
you. They blame you
no,
for that.
but instead of banning oil and oil drilling,
No,
I mean,
they're mad at you, Steve, because all you want to talk about is money.
No,
and then the whole
we should
world
be
is going to
focusing
hell.
on climate mitigation. Let it rise.
Right.
There's a guy, Steve Kuhlman, who worked for Obama, who came out with a book called Unsettled. And he said, if you let it go, the damage done will be very, very little. Yes, there will be damage.
Let go. Let go.
Just burn oil and stuff.
Just burn oil.
Whatever.
Burn oil.
rip.
CO2 helps plants grow. There's more green on this
By the way,
planet than there's ever been.
Don't you want like spring every day?
Yeah, but look, spring every day.
Work on my tan, you know?
But put yourself in their shoes, right? And then they're looking, younger people looking at this, and this is a first for them if we haven't had a bear market of any note in their lifetime. So all of a sudden, you know, they do remember. I think their first impressions were formed with the meltdown.
Right.
They remember what happened to their parents. They remember some of the older of them remember what happened to them.
Right.
So just as they're dipping their toes back in, we could be in for, I'm not even saying a crash, but paltry returns. They're getting used to 20, 25% returns.
Yeah.
They might be 2, 3. What was it, the Journal today talking about the possibility?
2.
Just that. Right?
Yeah, well,
Then what?
They're going to go further out on the risk curve looking for return.
No, I think what
Or they'll go to Bitcoin. Or
You know what's really
or it's not working.
You know what's
Ether.
really absurd about a lot of these millennials, and you know, you could through the prism of AOC, Ocasio-Cortez, you can.
I don't
just
want to hear
life-
her name
Okay,
anymore.
by the way, she and I went to the same high school. Obviously, we look.
Well, you're both
we're
very, very bright.
centuries apart.
But listen,
But,
listen. She always talks about how hard it was during the financial crisis when she was in college and her mom almost lost the house. You know, actually in the town we grew up in. And what she leaves out is that because of massive amounts of Fed intervention, her mom didn't lose the house.
Did or did not?
Didn't. The housing prices went up.
But every generation,
And she did okay.
But every generation makes mistakes or pushes bubbles too far. Our generation did too. Remember, we were all yuppies.
We didn't do
and
anything
buying
wrong.
it. Yes.
We did nothing wrong.
No, I don't think it was.
I think Charlie Brady, he did nothing wrong, but I think
No,
you
Neil,
made up for his doing
I
nothing.
worked. By the way, I worked my way through college. How about you?
Well, through graduate school, I mean,
You think everything they had was handed to them?
A lot of them, except for the ones that served in the military, because those are some of the best kids I've ever met. In my
They
life.
are.
They're-
They are.
it's
And the religious
it's like a
people.
dichotomy. It's like the kids that go into the military,
Right.
the millennials and the younger ones. They're such solid people.
But a lot of
and the other
generations,
ones are.
parrot the one before, right? I mean, they'll nothing be like the greatest generation, our parents.
Yeah.
I think that's just my personal view.
Well,
but
you're
bottom
older
line,
than me. My father was Korea. Yours was
my
World
father
War
was
II.
World War II. But my point is that, you know, it's
That was
still in our DNA. That greatness is still in our
Yes.
DNA, including the millennials and younger still.
Like I said, I think there's
So
a
you have a negative
no,
view.
there's a
but
dichotomy.
I have hope
the
for our
ones
future.
that I know that go into the military are such amazing kids.
You didn't
tough
answer
kids.
my
No,
question
no,
at all.
you're
Charlie
absolutely
Brady,
right.
And the
are
rest
you
of them are a bunch of
confident of the generation coming? Because you work with them. You work with very young people here
Yeah.
to guide them, to sort of provide your Yoda-like wisdom.
Well, no, you speak of the military. You know, seeing the Army-Navy game last weekend was inspiring and uplifting and did give you confidence. But no, a lot of the young people here, especially those in college age or just out, I think, have their head on straight economically.
Yeah, here at Fox is one thing I will say. The kids at Fox are pretty good.
Well, yeah, because they're interested in, you know, learning what's happening in the world.
They
really
are smart. They're they have drive. They're smart kids.
Most of the millennials.
You don't hate everyone.
No,
the millennials.
But I know
younger,
so many. But by the way, there was a couple of millennials I had that weren't so great. Trust me.
No, and there's look. I talk to school teachers right now. Our education at like 5th, 6th grade, and the millennials that are teaching these kids is just terrible. I mean, it's beyond belief how bad it is.
And
we
all
need
the
a wake-up
teachers are
call.
Millennials?
What?
All the teachers are millennials?
No, not all of them, but a lot of them are. Yes.
Okay.
And basically, we need a huge wake-up call in this country. Someone's got to bring us together, Neil.
We all need that.
Although when I was a millennial, like back then, I remember I had an argument with my editor, and I threatened to smash him in the face.
Okay.
That's real Renaissance.
I'm just telling you that, you know, I'm not perfect.
Look at the time. Well, you were great. I want to thank Charlie Gasperino. I want to thank Charlie Brady. Especially want to thank my good buddy, Steve.